and welcome to the Field of Streams, where I, your host Janeen McCrae, bring you the tiny thoughts that stream from my brain and present them to you as though they're tickets to a Taylor Swift or Bruce Springsteen concert, or insert name of latest hard-to-get artist tickets here, and you'll be helly dropped in, meaning you won't even have to mob it at the entry gate with all the riffraff. Dynamic pricing. Now, I can't promise you much, but I can promise you this. I won't keep you long. A promise like that deserves a follow, don't you think? Tap that follow button. Every time you do, a writer lives to fight another day. Also, if you're feeling doubly inspired, leave a review or rate it. Oh my God, that would make me so happy. Let me start off by saying I don't begrudge Jerry Seinfeld in his galactic starship freighters full of money, and I know he says things just because he says things and that's his job. He does bits, jokes, japes to be funny. But guys, we live in a time of pointless enragement and I want in. So I'm going to pretend I completely misunderstood what he said because this is a hot take and let's get those views, or listens rather, on my latest outrage. Ladies and gentlebens, welcome to this week's episode of Bit or Bad Take. Hint, it's a bit, but that would end this here, and I am outraged, damn it. Janeen, what are you talking about? Well, I was inspired by a season 1 episode of Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Norm Macdonald. This was before he passed. Not that that's relevant to this story, but that's just to show you I'm hip. I've loved Norm since I first saw him on David Letterman. There was nowhere to watch SNL in Australia, but The Late Show was on after midnight, and I loved that show. In fact, the first day I lived in New York, this was in 2003, I walked from 92nd Street, I had a room at the 92nd Street Y, and I walked, all the way to Times Square. Once I got there, I bought a Late Show t-shirt and a Pants Worldwide t-shirt and got a photo of the marquee. That's how much I loved Letterman. But I'm getting way off track here. Bring it back, Janeen. Let's land this plane. So in this episode, Norm and Jerry are chatting, and you can tell that Norm is one of Jerry's comedy crushes because he's obviously trying to make him laugh, to out-Norm Norm, which I think we all know was impossible. Norm mentions that his son writes 8 hours a day and particularly loves poetry, to which Jerry responds, "Poetry is bad stand-up. Bit or bad take? Doesn't matter, because what it really was inspiration for the thing I wrote, which I will now read to you in my best condescending and outraged voice." I won't sound outraged. I'll just read it like a normal person. Basic premise: poetry is everywhere, and everyone's a poet in training. The title, Can't Stand Your Stanza, is an obvious riff on Can't Stand Your Costanza. Do Seinfeld references still play? Bit or bad take? Oh, and one more thing. There was a footnote in the piece which directed readers to a poem I, Janeen McCrae, wrote when I was 15 years old and filled with teenage angst. I will read that at the end, and trust me, it's worth sticking around for. And now, without any further poetic meanderings, here is today's episode called Can't Stand Your Stanza. All the world's a poem, the swell of a wave, serene with its power and aching its way shoreward, grass rippling with the breath of a breeze, whispering its secret to an endless prairie, and you, there, squinting at the mesmerising murmuration of starlings with their lazy sky dance and blind trust falls. Poetry is everywhere. It yearns for release. All the world's a poem, every mode an ode. The shimmering laughter from an unexpected joke erupting from a sealed-off seam in your lungs. Cat purrs on heart hearths and dog nuzzles to a dangling hand. There is a delicate roil of a winter stew bubbling on the stove and a soft sigh from another room. Summer thunder, a rumble in the tummy of our world. Hot bread cut with a crisp knife, or the crunch of a cold apple snatched from the fridge. The drip of warm rain from a broken gutter to a fern frond below. Far off, a guttural cry in the night, begging for elegy. All the world's a poem, every mode an ode, all upon it a sonnet. This is love, All is love, the vision of the time, the hope of the heart, the words that spring forth from the mouth of one declaring devotion, betrayal, uncertainty. To stand on a street corner with the compression of traffic booming, it sucks us to the pavement in its toil, the brush of a shoulder, the feel of your heart beating at your neck, skin, hair, breath, gooseflesh, your delicate wrist conducting its wave goodbye, orchestrating emotion and stirring the blood. Poetry is everywhere. A salve, a lifeboat, a port in a storm. Look up, about and out. Poetry is afoot. Quote, poetry is bad stand-up. End quote. Jerry Seinfeld can't stand your stanza, apparently. I see the truth of this statement, not of the statement itself, for his craft is to make people laugh, and he's just needling some fabric here. But to remove the word bad and the accidental exposure of his buried and unacknowledged poet's shame is the real truth of it. He who wears the crown, yada yada. Poetry can be bad just as easily as stand-up can be unbearable. It can also be good and true and heckle-proof, just like stand-up. It's all subjective. Poems and jokes, they are one and the same, each flecked with the bones of structure to bind a body to. There, but invisible, everything and nothing, the beats, the wordplay, the flow and the rhythm of it. Both poets and comedians set word tripwires, and we happily stumble on through. We laugh, we get angry, we marvel at the magic trick of how they got under our skins. Sorry, Jerry, hate to break it to you. You're a poet. Enjoy your heavy head. Poets are in pain. Poets are in love. Poets exist in hope and wilderness. No maps, no compass, just instinct. They feel too much and hold back too little. Pain in a teardrop, love in a syringe, laughter in a bucket. Poetry saves! Amen! We consume their words like mood soups, dipping our spoons in, testing temperatures. The poems, the lyrics, the words, the sound of their philosophies hung out on lines that set hard and solid in the kilns of our brains. It's too brilliant, too dumb, too silly. Some of my favourite poets jumped off bridges. Some succumbed to the slumber of the final self-inflicted sleep. But in these acts, I do not see job requirement. You also don't need to be a drunk to be Bukowski. Something to write with and somewhere to write it down. That's all you need. Poets are not drama queens, for in these acts we see the sting of truth. Poets are just people too. It's not the salt shaker, it's the salt. It's not drama. It's just life. For that is poetry, just life. It's life, expressed in bites and slurps and dribbles on our tablecloths. Poetry is everywhere. It is trapped in surly 15-year-olds who cautiously let it out, raw and unfiltered, with no purpose bar release. It fills notebooks and drawers and spills onto dark stages. The wells are deep and sometimes poisoned, but the liquid of it is consumed and discarded or held in the secret undiscovered countries of our minds and recited in the darkness. This is art for the soulful, the anxious or courageous. For there is no money in poetry, no influencer coin to be had, accessible, irrepressible and honest, the most human of urges. You are told to resist it, but like a painful burp that threatens at the dinner table, I say better out than in. Too much stock is put into the understanding of poetry, the analysis. As someone who did many semesters of picking apart ancient word slingers and modern free verse flingers, I've observed that over-analysis can really suck the joy out of it. There's an edge you should go to in the reading and no further, lest you fall into the pit of wankery. Poetry is a consumable. It is expression shot from the fingertips powered by the emotion of your life. It speaks to you or it doesn't. It's that easy. Where is poetry? It is everywhere. Patch my heart, soothe my soul, make my mind expand, contract, snap back, or throw me in the bin and make me forget forever. Take me there, you wild and lost dreamers. I will go with you. All the world's a poem, every mode an ode, all upon it a sonnet, and on, anon. And there you have it, today's episode. Just noting that final line because you can't visually see it. The on and on, anon. The anon is the name of the person who wrote that. What was me? I'm anonymous. Not anymore. I have been demasked. But you're like, who cares? We want to hear the poem written by wide-eyed and innocent actual Janeen at the tender age of 15, not some anonymous sod. Well, okay. You asked for it. Here it is. I doubt you'll be able to recover from how cheerful it is, but here goes. It has no title. I'm just going to launch this pontoon boat of a poem right into your water. My mother lives in a house where nobody has ever died. She surrounds herself and her family with light. Each time I go home, I feel she is washing and ironing the clothes of death. These clothes for work and for going out to the club on a Sunday and for Jenny to take her baby to the doctor in. Death comes on the television and Mum laughs, saying, "There's death again. I must get those jeans taken up." I think I'm going to pause here and just let you take that in. Wasn't that special? Let me know what you think. I can't wait to hear. But let's wrap this up. I hope you'll come back for more. These little missives are designed to inspire creative folk to get out there and make something of their own. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the podcast so that you never miss one. Sign up to read my writing at janeenmccrae.substack.com. And for now, I'll leave you with this. Love what you love, and I'll see you out there making stuff, including poems.